What's up, and welcome to an episode of BRG TV. I've got an exciting guest I'm excited to welcome to you. So please give a warm welcome to my friend Chris Oakes. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm great, Zach. How you doing?
Man, I've already said excited twice, so I'll say it for a third time. I'm excited to have you on BRG TV today. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join us and help us reconnect with Chris Oakes.
For sure.
The person watching, if they found us on YouTube, you actually are all over Burris Realty Group YouTube, and so there's a lot of content there. But we're glad to have you back because we want to refresh it and make sure we're up to date on all things Chris Oakes, real estate and otherwise, and also give people a chance to meet you for the first time here. And so here's my first question for you, Chris.
Shoot.
Clay has filmed a video where we learned how Clay Burris went from realtor to team leader. And I know that you are the first agent to join the team. You made Burris Realty a group.
That's
Would
right.
you mind telling us a little bit about your real estate journey and how you got started? And if you want to, connect it to how you met Clay.
Yeah, for sure. So I have to go way back in the memory banks for this, I guess. It was 8 years ago. I was actually playing music full time. Ashley and I had our second child on the way. And so I was looking for a change just because, being out at a bar most nights a week wasn't really conducive to raising children. So I know I didn't want to go back to punching a clock or having, kind of a set 9 to 5 typical job. So actually got a lot of advice from the realtor that helped us sell our first house. He kind of put me on the path to how to get my license and pursued that pretty quickly. I spent my first couple years kind of bouncing around to different brokerages. I tried a big one. I tried a little one. I thought about going on my own. And I think it was through, I can't remember his name. Somebody at Century 21 invited me in, and I spent a little bit of time there as a solo agent. That's where I met Clay. He happened to work in the office right next to where I would hang out. And so C21 connected us. He was looking to rekindle his team, and our personalities just kind of meshed right away. And I guess the rest is history.
That's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. For people that know or might know rather several of us as a team, I'm curious what it was like to meet Clay as an independent agent and what some of the fun or even growing pains it was like in those early days.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about because I definitely remember the first time I walked into Clay's office, kind of for the first interview. He was very stoic, very serious, and I think I was too. Like we were both just kind of feeling each other out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then as weeks and maybe months went by, we got a little more comfortable, learned how each other worked, and it just developed into a great friendship from there. And I think was the beginning of the culture that we see now with our team of 7.
Yeah, we've come a long way since then. I joined the team somewhere in the middle, and so
Yeah.
I joined the team as I was already going down the tracks pretty strong. But I can relate to Clay Burris in a first meeting doesn't show his cards very much, does he?
Not at all. No, it's very down to brass tacks. Like we're talking business.
I love that. I love it. Well, hey, I know a little bit about this, but I'm curious if you'll share it with the viewers today. You mentioned playing music full time, and I'm curious if you'd share a little bit about that today as we get to know Chris Oakes.
Sure. It was a super exciting period of my life. I started out, I guess, my professional career. My first real job was in banking. I worked in operations. Kind of started at the bottom and worked my way up to. I was an operations manager for a local bank for a couple years, and it just started kind of sucking the life out of me. I'm not a desk job kind of guy. And so my wife actually kind of pushed me into pursuing music. So I started out just hitting a couple open mics and trying to get through a few songs and get through my nerves. And it slowly turned into, a gig every weekend, a couple gigs during the week. And then before I knew it, I was playing 6 or 7 nights a week. And it was, like I said, it was super cool. I was making full-time money working, kind of 20, 25 hours a week. Um, and yeah, it was great. I met a lot of really cool people, spent time in some really cool venues. I played at some fine dining restaurants around town, played a lot of private parties, did some weddings. Um, and I tried the band thing a few times. It never really worked out. I always just went back to playing solo, honestly, until you and I started playing music together. That's all I ever really wanted to do was play solo stuff. But I think it takes finding the right person that you kind of gel with musically. Um, so that's been fun more recently. I don't know if I'm digging into your next question here, but
No
yeah,
rules.
playing with Hill and Oaks and putting a band together around that has been super fun.
Yeah, well,
Still,
I appreciate you mentioning it. I love that part of your story. I've never met anybody that fed his family by playing music in the local scene, and so kudos to you because I recognize that while it sounds fun, there's a lot of work that goes into that too. And I'll toot your horn for you because what's neat is I've been able to see you through those relationships, then be able to turn that into some real estate business where they were able to know, like, and trust you for who you are, and probably one of your favorite forms. You were able to strike up a conversation and then, serve that client. Maybe a little bit further down the road, but that connection was there, and really that's what it comes down to is trust, right?
oh,
Trust in
absolutely.
the realtor and a belief in the skill set they can do it, right, Chris?
Yeah, yeah. And as strange as it sounds, now that we're talking about it, I think a lot of the skills that I kind of developed as a musician, not necessarily the music side, but the business side of, going out and finding gigs and keeping a schedule and networking with different people. It definitely translates over into real estate a little bit. To be able to play 7 or 8 times a week, definitely takes a little bit of hustle. It takes communication skills. It takes, the networking and all that stuff. So I think that definitely kind of helps jumpstart my real estate career as well.
For sure, for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great way to break that down. I could talk to you about that all day, but to help give our listeners and watchers today a little bit more information about you, talk to me about your time around the city and give us some idea of who is Chris Oakes in and around Indianapolis.
Sure. Interesting question. Um, so my wife and I grew up in Arcadia, Indiana. Not a lot of people know where that's at, but that's almost the northernmost tip of Hamilton County. Just a small town, one stop sign, one gas station. That's about it. Um, so we got married pretty young. We initially moved to Colorado. That only lasted a few months, and then we ended up back in Indy. So I lived over by Eagle Creek for a long time. Got to know that area pretty well. And then when we had kids, right about the same time I started my real estate career, we moved to Westfield. So been here about 10 years, just over 10 years. Love Indianapolis. We've talked about moving to other places in the country, but I think Indy's a great place to raise a family. Lots to do around here. We get the whole gamut of weather, right? So snow in the winter, sun in the summertime. So yeah, we love where we're at. We love Hamilton County, especially. Great place to live. Like I said, great place to raise a family. Plenty to do around here. The real estate market is obviously pretty hot, so that helps as well.
It's always churning, isn't it? I've learned moving from Fort Wayne down to Indianapolis that the scale really has an impact, and there's always some work to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
That's
nice to
cool.
see the growth all around us.
So you've been a realtor for a while now, and you're still playing some music. There's a piece of your journey I'm excited for you to share today, and this will be really a big update for the listener and even a fan of yours that's been watching you grow locally. Chris, tell us a little bit about your real estate in 2023 and what you're doing. It's employment's what comes to mind, but that's not it at all. You do several things under the real estate umbrella, and I'm curious if you could speak to that today.
Sure. So one of the things I guess we kind of skipped over talking about my entry into real estate, I think I had a passion early on for real estate investing. So it's been kind of my goal since the beginning to invest in real estate, to work with investors. It took me a few years, I think, just learning the general stuff in the business to kind of take the leap and get my feet wet. So in 2021, Clay and I actually partnered and did our first investment property. We flipped a house in Carmel. Since then, I kind of got the bug and have just been doing it ever since. I'm on my fourth one now with 2 more under contract. So it's been super fun. I'd like to think that I'm a bit of a handyman, so I do a lot of the work myself. But it's also been fun, learning the ins and outs of investing, finding contractors, running comps, knowing market data, and just being able to navigate all that. So then I guess the next progression of that is, and now that I've got a little bit of experience, looking to help other people in their journey. So that's been fun. I'm working with a few people now that are actively looking for investment properties. And it's cool to, take my knowledge and tailor it to what they're looking for specifically, because there's a million different ways to invest in real estate. So it's fun to continue learning and continue, broadening my expertise and help people out with that.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch you do that. And I'll give you credit because you are the team's trusted leader in investment properties. And with respect to our team leader, that's not what Clay does. You hold that title on our team. And so whether it's experienced agent or a new agent, we're all coming to you when we've got an investor client, even wanting to do it ourselves. I can't wait to get into that market myself, but it's neat to see you say, I'm going to try this on. I'm going to grow in it and have success in it. So congratulations for pursuing that and, learning from it and being kind of earning that title. You're not asking for it by any means, but you're always happy to help. And we certainly appreciate that. So, so something that comes to mind, I think that this is something that we could bring value in is something that I've asked you personally. My wife and I have asked you, like, Chris, we'd like to invest, but we just don't know where to start or what to do. That's kind of an investment 101 question that I think you get a lot. And I'm curious if you could share that with us today.
Sure. I have to let my dog out the back door real quick, though. I don't know if you hear him whining in the background. Give me 2 seconds.
All right, friends, we'll pause real quick and Chris will join us in a second. But again, the question will be, hey, I'm thinking about investing in real estate. I want to, I see it on TV, I see it online, but I'm just not sure where to start.
Thanks for your patience. You can edit that part out, right?
No, we're going to keep it on. It keeps it fun.
Either way. So kind of investing 101. I think the first thing that you need to think about is what your goals are with real estate investing, right? Like I said before, there's a million different ways you can do it. There's a million different reasons to do it. So some people want to grow their capital. Flipping is a great way to do that. You get in, you get out, you can, increase your cash on hand. Other people like to hold real estate for long term, create some monthly cash flow, build some long-term equity. So I think that's the first question that you need to ask yourself is, what are my goals in real estate investing? And then kind of think about your risk tolerance, I suppose. Again, there's a million different ways you can invest in real estate. You can go at it alone. You can, invest in a syndication, which is, a group of people putting their money into a project and kind of trusting somebody else to take the reins on that and give you a return. I feel like I'm kind of rambling here, but the short answer is identify what you want your real estate investment to do for you, and then kind of go from there.
Well, I'll say go from there is find somebody you trust that's been there before that can lead you through it, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think you can spend so much time watching, YouTube videos, subscribing to podcasts, and just trying to educate yourself, which is really important. But yeah, absolutely. If you have a mentor or if you have somebody that can kind of guide you along that path, definitely helps to have a hand to hold, so to speak.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, on a different topic, Chris, something we like to do is just learn about the agent outside of work. We certainly want to be known as a trusted resource in real estate around Indianapolis. It's fun to learn our history a little bit, but we're curious, if you're not working, what are you doing? How does Chris Oakes like to spend his time outside of the office?
Sure. It's a good question. As we talked about a little bit, still love playing music, still spend a couple weekends a month doing that. Zach, you and I talk about this all the time. We have to decline gigs so that I can reserve time for my family. We love to camp. We love being outside. So summertime's great for that. We actually have a goal this year to hit every state park in Indiana. So there's 24 of them. I think we're at 11 or 12 now. So still some work to do there, but yeah, love just outdoors. And then I also joke that, anytime we have any extra money laying around, we love to spontaneously book vacations. The Caribbean is my second home. We've been to Mexico a few times, Jamaica, Puerto Rico. So that's a big why for me. It's why I get up every morning and try to make money in real estate and serve people, so that I can blow that money on Caribbean vacations.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because we all know you as a spontaneous trip taker. We love that about you guys. We're all envious of it. And I've had the chance to go on one with you and your lovely wife, and we had a great time. So
yeah, that was a
I'll have to do it again sometime.
For sure.
I appreciate you sharing that, Chris. Hey, we've covered a lot of ground in about 15 or more minutes here. We want to get to know you, unpack where you're at today. And before we get to a speed round, I'm curious, is there anything that I didn't ask that you'd want to cover as we kind of catch up on and get to know Chris Oakes today?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
You asked a lot of great questions. What did we talk about? We talked about my entry into real estate. We talked about my current goals, I suppose. A little bit of music, a little bit of background. Yeah. I think you covered it all.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing up your family. I always like to give our guests the chance to talk about their family if they want to or not, but big fan of your family. So you're doing a great job.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Okay, well, let's jump into the lightning round here. And this always stresses everybody out, but I promise you there's no wrong answers. We just want to get to know you better with a few questions that I picked out one day and I kept asking. You ready to go?
Sounds great. Let's go.
Chris Oakes, what is your favorite band?
Oh, you can't ask a musician that. I'll give you two answers because one, no one will recognize, and the other one, Pink Floyd. Love Pink Floyd. And then a really kind of obscure band, Dream Theater.
Ooh, that surprises me.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Oh, these are such broad questions.
They are.
You can't go wrong with like Shawshank Redemption. That's a great movie. Yeah, we'll go with that.
That's a good one.
It'll be different the next time you ask me. But
I was about to try a Morgan Freeman voice, but I'll let that one go today.
Love it.
All right, this one's a little bit of a pivot. I'm curious what you'll say. What's a book, a podcast, or something that you use to learn from and be the best version of yourself?
I hate to admit this. I don't read a whole lot. I'll occasionally grab something from the library, but and I don't really listen to podcasts. There's a YouTube channel I subscribe to. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I just watched some of his videos this morning. I can't remember it. I'm going to leave you hanging on that one.
Cool. Any topic that comes to mind, or you want to move on?
I don't know if you've heard the term biohacking. As I'm getting older, I'm getting more conscious of my health and well-being. So I spent a lot of time researching, how to keep my body going for another 40 years.
It is cool. It's amazing how our minds shift a little bit to preservation, going, well, I can still take care of myself now. What can I do better to keep taking care of myself?
Sure. I mean, I've got a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old, both boys, and so I've got to stay on top of my health so I can keep up with them.
I love it. I love it. This one should be fun. If you get to choose where you're going out to eat, where are you going to go, Chris Oakes?
Ooh, I spent a lot of time in fine dining restaurants playing music. Eddie Merlot's was always one of my favorites. But then more locally, maybe a more casual night, Chiba in Westfield. I am a somewhat recent fan of sushi, but that's the spot for good sushi.
I dig it. All right. Last question in the lightning round. This can be however surface or deep you choose to go, but what's one goal that you have for yourself at the time of this recording?
One goal I have for myself?
Yes, sir.
People always tell me I'm crazy, but I turned 41 this year. I would like to retire at 45. And that doesn't mean, quit working completely. I think retirement to me means, have enough money in my bank account and have enough passive income that I can just put all my bills on auto pay, swipe a credit card when I need to, go on vacation when I want. I think I'll still be in the real estate business in some form or another, well past that. But maybe a better way to describe it is complete financial independence by 45. So
I love that. That's a great goal, and I appreciate you sharing that with us today.
Sure.
Well, hey, Chris Oakes, thank you so much for making some time for us today. I want to say thank you for welcoming me to the team several years ago. You all didn't have to do that, and you were very gracious, made us feel at home. And it's been fun to get to know you better, play some music together, and keep having a lot of fun. So appreciate you. We appreciate you as the Burris Realty Group, and look forward to doing this again sometime. Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'm looking forward to switching roles here and getting your video done maybe in the next couple of weeks.
You going to do mine?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
I dig it. I look forward to it.
Cool, man. Thanks again.
Cool. All right, we're going to sign off with Chris, and appreciate his time today. We'll see you on the next episode of BRG TV. Take care, everybody.